This video is the science behind a color change. Now, let me just quickly show you what a color change is. So basically I have a card, right? And I can take that card, right? And then if you look at it, look at the card carefully, then I can make you think that that card is some other card, when in reality it's not. And that is a color change. Now, why does that look so magical? Okay. So by the way, let me tell you what's happening. So there are two cards involved, obviously, and then one card switches for the other card, and it's done very swiftly. Okay. Uh, so why does that look so good? The question, and the answer is because there is a phenomenon that occurs which is known as persistence of vision. Okay, you can Google that, but the idea is that whenever you look at a card, so for example, I have this card, right, the nine of diamonds. If I look at the nine of diamonds, then I see it's a red card and I see it's a diamond. Okay, so even when I'm not looking at that card, so if I hide the card with my fingers, okay, you can see over here, if I hide the card with my fingers, then you are still retaining the vision. Okay, you are still retaining that this card should be a red card. When I am hiding it, you know that it should be a 9, okay, and it should be a diamond. So that's what you're retaining. That's what persistence of vision is. So even when you are not looking at it, you're still retaining that. Okay, so for example, now if that 9, right, for some reason goes out and changes to be a J, then it looks really magical. Okay. So in fact, what is happening is one card is changing for the other. Okay, but because your eyes have this phenomenon of persistence of vision, your eyes will still be remembering the 9, and then suddenly when it reveals to be a J, it looks really magical. Okay, now this thing that I talk about, right, this thing would not work in certain cases. Now let me show you an example in which this would not work. Okay, it's still recording. So I have an example in which it would not look that good. Okay, so for example, in this card, okay, this is a 4 of clubs, and then I do the same thing. I do the change of the cards and it turns into a 3. It's not very visually appealing. Why? Because the card that I was remembering before, right, the 4 of clubs, looks very similar to the 3 of clubs, which is why it does not look that good. Okay, in contrast to something like if I were to, let's say, oh, this is a good one. So this one and this one. Okay, so in contrast, if I look at this card, right, the ace of clubs, and then I do the change again, right, I swiftly change it to a Q, it looks very magical. Why? Because A was a like very less printed card, right, and Q is a face card with a lot of printing. So when it goes from a lot less printing to a lot more printing, your brain because your visions were persisting the empty spaces, and the empty spaces get filled, and it looks very magical. So that is all about the science behind a color change.